Welcome everyone and very good evening to all of you. My name is Dr. Pravin Parmar and I'm the founder and CEO of Vyapaar Jagat. So Vyapaar Jagat is basically a media company. Vyapaar Jagat is a tech media platform, and so being a media company, we are featuring out the business stories. We are featuring out the business journeys of entrepreneurs and the change makers, right? And Vyapaar Jagat is a knowledge portal where we are spreading lot many knowledge sessions and lot many articles to our readers. And we are trying to help out the startup, the early risers, and the business people, those who are looking for upcoming trends, those who are looking to know more about their business, and they want to know about what are the happenings around the world. Okay, participants. So, as I have said, today we have the automobile industry experts, and they are from the team of CarJasos, right? And CarJasos is a platform which is 100% contactless car buying platform in India. So currently, CarJasos, they are having the presence in Delhi NCR, and they are also having plan to expand this particular platform reach across the India, pan India. Right, and as we all know that today's webinar, the subject is what's new coming up for the car buyers and sellers. Right, so let me welcome our today's speakers, and we will be starting our webinar shortly. So I welcome Mr. Angel Kansagra, who is a co-founder of CarJasos, and Mr. Shiv Narula, who is associate director for the operations and sales in CarJasos. Welcome, Angel. Welcome, Shiv.
Thank you. Thank you, Pravin.
All right. So we'll be starting our webinar now. And members, I'll just tell you one thing: the format about this particular webinar. So we will be having the initial panel discussion in the around 30 minutes or so, and then we will be having a question answer session where we will allow all the participants to put your questions in the chat box, and our experts will answer your questions. Right. So that's the format of today's webinar, and let's start with today's topic, which is again what's new coming up for the car buyers and sellers in India. All right. So my first question to Angel and Shiv is on in our current situation where we all are passing through the very very critical situation. It's a lockdown, and the lockdown 4 version is also about to release. Right, so we all are passing through this kind of situation, and as we all know that all the industries are highly, badly impacted, and every business person, every industry is just looking forward that what will be the new normal, right? What will be the new situation where the how the business will start, and what will be the set of rules and things in the future, right? So when we are talking about all the industries, so automobile is a sector, and automobile is a very huge sector in India. And so let us know more about this particular sector from our experts. And I asked this particular question to Angel and Shiv that what's your view on the situation, and how do you foresee or how do you predict things pertaining to automobile industry? It's over to Shiv and Angel. You can please take the question.
Sure. So yeah, thank you, Pravin, and hello everyone. I agree with you that there is no denying that COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting lockdowns had a significant impact on everyone. So we agree with that, and we had never imagined that something like this would happen, but it is a reality now, and we should all work towards mitigating the negative impact of the situation. So we should look forward now. And we can visibly say that the automobile industry is one of the worst hit by this situation. There is no denying. And when I say automobile industry, I'm talking about the entire supply chain, which includes the car manufacturers, component manufacturers, and the authorized dealers who have seen a significant impact on their business. I would like to add that over the past 2 months, there have been no sale, and this has never happened in recent history. However, all businesses had to still bear the fixed costs of real estate, financing costs, salaries, etc. And plainly speaking, if you assume that generally a business has around 20% profit margin, and then having no revenues for 2 months out of 12 months, which will largely wipe off the profit margin and move them into a loss-making territory. So going forward, there will be a short-term dip in sales, and we can't deny it. So therefore, the businesses will have to think about future costs as well as the past costs that they have incurred and ways to get their profit margin up, which is very critical in this scenario. And a sector that contributes close to 7% to India's GDP and employs over a million people, that's more than 10 lakhs, you will see some permanent changes to the way it does business. And the biggest impact, I believe, among all these parties has been on the authorized dealers who act as the face of car brands and act as the point of sale for these brands.
Very true, Angel. So thank you for sharing this particular thing. And now, Shiv, my question to you is now. So the same question, because as far as I know, you are more interacting with the dealers, where being a part of the operations and sales division in the CarJasos, you are having the more interaction with your dealers, right? So what are your thoughts into this particular question, where what is the impact we are having currently?
Thank you, Pravin, first of all, for arranging this session for everyone. And good evening, everyone. And I thank you all to join us today. So yes, definitely dealers have seen the biggest impact. However, not all dealers have seen the same impact due to different business structures and different levels of liabilities. So if I say the biggest costs for dealership include staff salaries, infrastructure, and cost of finance. So these costs are largely fixed costs, and a dealer who knows the property and does not have much leverage will see lower losses compared to dealership who have to pay rent and interest on loans. So over the last 2 months since the start of lockdown, we have seen zero sales for most of the dealers across the nation. So lockdown meant that frontline staff could not work from dealerships, and by and large, most of the car dealerships in India do not have remote working facilities for staff. So as such, the working staff they cannot get full access from their home to their systems. However, we have seen that a few dealerships have managed to get some new car bookings through social media and their regular call out operations. But as you would imagine, that these small inflows will not be sufficient to cover their fixed costs. So these are the difficult times, but we believe that those parties who take the issues head on and implement solutions to mitigate these issues will get through the other side.
Very true. Thank you, Shiv and Angel. Okay, so now you have shared about the suppliers in the automobile market. Now looking at the demand, how do you think the consumer behavior will change going forward, and how can this be addressed? So looking at your industry, looking at the experience you have, so what do you think? What would be the consumer behavior and how it will change going forward? Yes,
Sure.
Angel, I think you can take this question. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. So in my view, and generally at CarJasos, we believe that the long-term growth story of the automobile sector is still intact. In my view, we will see growth in this sector in the long term. However, it's a bit difficult to predict with certainty the short-term trend and to some extent the medium-term trend in the industry. And to get a decent picture of this change in trend, let us look at one of the key drivers, which is consumer behavior. So what we think is we'll definitely see a change in consumer behavior and their buying pattern. There's no doubt about it. We will also see demand for personal vehicles rise. And the reason for that is people might want to avoid shared mobility. So there have been a lot of surveys and studies conducted recently where majority of the people have said that we'll stay away from shared mobility, which includes public transport and also shared rides, which have been on the rise. And this not only means that there will be rise in first-time vehicle buyers, in my view, but also we will see increase in vehicles per household. Now, previously, so these are the household who were able to afford vehicles in the past, but they just had one vehicle. Like they could afford multiple, but they just kept one because they were using shared mobility for some travel requirements whenever they wanted to.
Right.
And one other thing which we believe is that the social or physical distancing and the no contact or contactless buying is here to stay. So customers might voluntarily decide to adhere to these norms. Even if government lift the lockdowns, customers might want to maintain distance and everything. So And on the other hand, I think that the government norms around physical distancing in private places like dealerships will also stay for some time. So all this would mean that the frequency of visits by a customer to a car dealership will reduce, and customers will try to complete a large portion of car buying journey online. Now, if you see till date, majority of the customers only completed a part of the journey, which was the discovery phase when they were researching about cars online, and everything else was completed offline, by visiting dealers and meeting them and doing all those things. But recent reports and surveys have suggested that post lockdown, online car sales are likely to gain traction as customer would lean towards contactless modes of purchasing things, and cars are one of them. In my view, it is also encouraging to see that many auto OEMs, car manufacturers have launched their click-to-buy platforms. So this means that dealer will also follow and leverage the online way to connect with customers and offer them deals and organize a contactless way to sell cars, like getting cars delivered and everything. So this is my view about general consumer behavior in the market going forward.
Absolutely, very true. In fact, so the way we are talking about the digital transformation, or the way we are talking about the online presence of businesses, right? So very well said, Angel, that the selling cars online is going to be a new trend, and it is going to be a new normal situation as far as the automobile industry is concerned. Okay, but there will be challenges to move from physical offline process to online process. And so now can you just give an example of process that will have to be completely revamped if dealers want to sell cars online, right? So Shiv, can you just give an example for this particular thing where the completely revamped, if suppose dealers want to sell cars online, then what would be the process?
Yeah, so like I think the process of filtering out the noise will need to be revamped. So let me give you an example for this. So like as we have observed over the years that there had been a lot of digitization in car sales process, but that is only limited to the sourcing perspective. So the majority of the car buying journey still remains an offline affair. For example, if I spend 15,000 rupees, being a dealer, if I'm spending 15,000 rupees, I can easily acquire contact details of 100 prospective leads from various sources. Okay, like however, on an average, only 3 to 4% of the prospective leads will convert into the car buyers, or you can say the potential sales. So the biggest challenge till now for the dealer is to filter out the serious or the hot customer from these 100 prospective leads. So dealers have to spend an incredible amount of time with each customer. So filtering is essential to ensure the most optimum use of time and resources. Dealers had some soft checks to filter customers. However, the most preferred way of filtering is to assess the customer's seriousness face to face. Preference for face-to-face interaction was the primary driver of why a very small proportion of car deals were closed online or over the phone. So, however, now if customers reduce their frequency of visits to dealerships, the face-to-face assessment might not be possible in many cases. So, like how dealers ensure that they deploy their resources to service serious customers for better outcome. Some options they could consider, for example, like purchase better quality of leads, which actually increase their upfront cost. But if they spend time with more leads, so that increases their resource requirements. So relying on face-to-face filtration, if I say, so dealers will not get many customers to visit them. So this aspect is also not valid if they rely on the face-to-face filtering. So
Right.
overall, these options involve an increased fixed cost and the upfront cost. So in my view, to address these challenges, that whole car buying journey needs to be digitized, not just acquiring leads. So, however, while doing this, dealers cannot change the whole team and the process overnight, which is practically not possible. So they have to use the current team, marry their skills with the new digital approach, and at the same time focus on moving to a variable cost structure. and rather than running with the high upfront fixed costs. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, very interesting. So, in fact, I think there are most of the digitalization related points you have covered. Shiv, thank you so much for that. And okay, now, so when you are talking about reducing the fixed cost and moving towards the variable cost model for the dealers or the suppliers, so okay, so what do you think? I mean, so what are your thoughts on how dealers can achieve this? And would the online way to sell cars help the dealers in cost management too? I mean, right? So when we talk about this particular fixed cost and the variable cost, so how that will be for the cost management and other the achievements perspective for the suppliers and the dealers. So I think whomsoever will take this question, Angel or Shiv, yes.
Sure. So yeah, I'll take this one. Um, I agree with Shiv that to maintain profitability, car dealers will have to focus on reducing their expenses, and especially in the current times where there's uncertainty around revenues over the short term and possibly in the medium term. So reducing the expenses means the dealers will first have to review all the controllable costs which they have, something which they can control, and not end up increasing the cost base altogether to adopt these new ways of selling cars online. Um, Let me give you an example around this one. So all the dealers will want to go digital. Okay, we all agree with that. Everyone knows there's been a lot of publications around this. But going digital doesn't mean you have a fancy website or have a fancy social media page. Digitizing means an overhaul of the entire operations of a dealer, which means the dealers have to invest a lot upfront into this infrastructure, which will increase the cost base. And investing a lot upfront without understanding the impact and the actual benefit might not be a wise decision for dealers at this stage. And secondly, what I think is the complete digital sales process might require a different skill set altogether. So this requires upskilling the current staff. So giving them the required trainings and everything to sell cars in the new world, or recruiting a new staff if you think your current staff doesn't have the skill. And again, that will have cost implications. And also there are timelines involved if you want to replace the staff. Again, which is not an ideal situation. And there are ways in which they can work with the current staff and upgrade them and everything. So what I believe is one of the solutions is to use a digital partner who can act as a digital extension for dealers and adopt a hybrid phygital model. Now, this is a new term which you would hear, like phygital means a mix of physical and digital model, because there are certain industries where you can't remove the physical element. So you take most of the items digital and keep minimum physical items in the whole process. And this phygital model should be such that dealers are able to utilize the skills of the current sales force, and at the same time avoid painful initial investment on upgrading digital infrastructure. So this would also help them move away from a large fixed cost base and kind of move to a variable cost base. In digital terms, I'm talking about. So, for example, if the sales team already had some form of digital interaction with customers, so most of the communication was done over the phone. When you get the leads and everything digitally, you have the communication over phone or face to face. Now, as Shiv said, that you have to increase the efficiency in terms of servicing more customers. If you can't assess who is serious or not, then you can do it over chat platforms, where you can service more customers. And coincidentally, this is also the mode of communication which is most preferred by the customers nowadays, because they don't want to talk to over the phone. So for the current sales staff, this kind of move from phone or face-to-face to chat platforms is quite a simple one to do. You don't need like specialists to do this. And the salespeople are extremely smart. They know, they have spoken to customers, they know all the cues. So they will easily adopt to this change. So I believe a phygital model is something that will really help the dealers going forward.
Super, very well said, Angel. And this is a very fascinating for me, and I think for everyone, where we are talking about the new model, which is hybrid. I mean, it is a combination of physical as well as digital, right? So phygital is a new term, and I think it is going more popular these days. Perfect. So, all right. So, Angel, adding to this particular thing, what you have shared in this particular question. So, adding to that, so does your platform, does CarJasos.com help the dealers in increasing their sales efficiency via online route?
Yeah, I would say definitely yes, we do. So let me actually elaborate more on this like hybrid model. As you said, it's very
Yes.
fascinating. And also I can then connect this to what CarJasos does. So in this hybrid model, uh, for the hybrid model to work, we need someone who can act as dealer's digital extension to help them get customers, and that's what CarJasos does. But generally speaking, by customers, I don't mean leads or just phone numbers for the dealers, and charge the dealers upfront for these leads. As Shiv mentioned, they can buy 100 leads for
Yes.
15,000 rupees. That's high upfront cost. I mean, sure shot serious customers with booking deposits, and this will also mean that we reduce the resource requirements from the dealers, because just getting phone numbers involves a lot of effort from the dealer side to get those people into their dealership, and selling 3 or 4 cars out of 100. So um, that is the kind of digital partner dealers would need to actually first have a variable cost base, and then kind of get more better quality customers. So of this entire process for the car buying journey, what I believe in the new model, the only physical elements will be test drives, car inspection, and car delivery. Everything else can be managed digitally, and we have been doing that as well for some time now. And now, as I've said, like variabilizing cost is very important. So ideal scenario for the dealers is not to pay for those 100 leads, but only pay for if a digital partner helps them sell 1 car out of 100, they just pay for 1 car. They don't pay for like 100 customers. So getting into a variable commission model is also something which will really help the dealers in these difficult times, because they will be able to better forecast their finances this way. And I believe that CarJasos can offer dealers and ease all these pain points and be an efficient and cost-effective online digital sales partner.
Okay. All right. Superb. All right. So, Shiv, would you like to add in this particular in this particular question, where being in operations, so operations perspective, would you like to share the CarJasos features for the dealers?
Yes, thank you, Pravin. So the key feature of CarJasos.com for dealers, I would highlight, is that they only have to spend 20 seconds online on each query. Okay, so that is all the resource requirement we need from dealers for majority of the inquiries. So behind the scenes, CarJasos sales operations team takes care of entire process from inquiry to booking, using its efficient technology with automation, aiming to get booking deposits in advance. So this ensures better conversion, where dealers are now deploying resources only on serious customers with booking deposits and filtering out the noise. So that is basically a confirmed sale, you can say, in which a customer has blocked his interest by giving a booking amount. So this helps them to reduce upfront resource requirements to chase leads that are unlikely to convert. Plus, CarJasos only charges a commission on successful sale. So if I say a successful sale, that is a customer has bought a car from that particular dealer to whom we have given a booking amount. So this helps in moving to a variable cost model and reduce large upfront costs of purchasing prospective leads and deploying the staff to cater those leads. So secondly, the CarJasos dealer portal has an easy to use smart interactive dashboard which can be accessed from any device. So the sales staff can respond to the inquiries and sell cars online from anywhere on the go. Many times sales officers are outside on the test drives or the post sales follow-up visits or the home visits, and so many tasks are there. So now most of them are working from home also. So it is important to provide them flexible tools to maximize efficiency, and CarJasos dealer portal addresses this issue and serves this purpose and help them to move and work along the way.
Interesting. So, in fact, I think lot many car dealers, I mean dealers or the suppliers, are facing this kind of issues since long. I mean, right? And so you have, I mean, so you all these things sounds very interesting to address the issues faced by all the dealers. But what level of online car buying will you see among car buyers? And when we say among car buyers, there is usual habit for visiting the dealerships, right? So it's a very traditional way where the brick and mortar approach is coming into the picture, and everybody wants to visit the dealership, and then they are making the decision. So what is your take where how the online product experience can be as good as the traditional way? Okay, Angel, I think you will be able to, I mean, so you will be the right to answer this particular question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes, so Indian car. So what I would say is that Indian car buyers were already used to researching about cars online. So more than 90% of customers visit some online car website to research about the car before they step a foot into a dealership. And in majority of the cases, we believe that by the time the customer reaches the dealer, they have already decided or zeroed in on the car which she wants to purchase, right? So now, if you look at it, that the main purpose of a customer to visit a dealer, or probably multiple dealers of the same brand, is to discover prices, look at offers, negotiate with them, and sort of the primary driver is making the dealers compete against each other. So you would go to two dealers and talk to one dealer and say the other one has given me this price, so you'll do some haggling there. And in our experience, usually a customer visits at least two dealerships to ensure they are able to get a good deal for the car they want to buy. But in our view, just visiting two dealers might not mean that you have got the best deal available in the market, because there are many other dealers. So looking at the current situation, we believe this pandemic has made us learn a lot of new techniques to perform our regular tasks, keeping safety and health in mind. So why not buy a car online when it really helps you maintaining social distance and sort of avoid shared mobility, which is preference of many people now. And on top of this, I think that if the customer is able to virtually replicate the whole physical journey where they are visiting multiple dealers and discovering the best offers, then the online experience becomes more powerful than the physical experience, especially in the transaction, the point of view of transacting to buy a car. And this is exactly what CarJasos offers to customers. So what we have typically seen is that within a few hours, when a customer requests about offers for a particular car, the customer receives sort of attractive offers from somewhere between 4 to 10 dealers. It depends on the brands, and the dealer concentration and everything. But they would get like 4 to 10 deals these are real-time deals from dealers, and they can compare all the prices on the offers and everything at the comfort of their house. And this way they can virtually visit more dealers compared to the traditional scenario where they would visit, say, 2 or max 3 dealers at the same time. So since they have had offers and prices from many dealers, probably covering a big portion of the dealers in the city, they can be more confident that they have received the lowest price. And on top of this, we also offer sort of doorstep delivery of sanitized cars. So what else would a customer want when they could replicate the entire journey, physical journey, in a virtual environment? And this is what I call the digital part of the digital journey, which I mentioned earlier. So these elements could go digital, paperwork, insurance, loans, and everything can be done digitally nowadays. So this would be the digital element in my view.
Superb. So in fact, sanitized car is a again interesting terminology or a term which you have shared. Thank you, Angel. And so, in addition to this particular digital side of journey, Shiv, can you quickly highlight the physical part of the car buying journey?
Yeah, sure, Pravin. So coming to the physical or offline part of the process. So one of the things that is difficult to replicate online is to touch and feel the car and take the test drives. So that is the aspect of a physical process. Okay, so although in the scenarios where customer has already decided on the car model to buy, so she might not be very much bothered about the test drive. So as they would have already driven that car owned by friends or family. However, for the new launches or less popular cars, there will be some hesitation from the customers. Like you can say, as they are not aware of the feel of the car. So doorstep test drives have been happening for some time now, and however, with the OEMs promoting click to buy platforms, as we have seen recently and mentioned by Angel also. So I expect to see an infrastructure being set up for this digital process, and dealers will be providing more home test drives. And once the customer gets a feel of the car, then they can move back to the digital world to complete all the formalities online and get the sanitized car delivered at their doorstep. So like some other solutions which can help customers to get a feel of the car and its features is can be through the video calls by the sales staff, and giving customers an inside and outside virtual tour of the car parked at the dealership or at the home of any particular sales staff. So lastly, there will be an increase in consumption of top-notch video reviews from the blogger community, which will play a significant role as customers will look forward for the unbiased car reviews.
True.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, okay. So, how do you align CarJasos with the changing customer behavior post COVID-19? So, I think my question to Angel, being a founder, Angel, the question is, how do you align CarJasos with the changing customer behavior post COVID-19?
Yeah. So, in my view, like CarJasos has been advocating the move to online car buying, where car buyers and dealers both save time for some time now. And in my view, car buyers being able to compare real-time offer from multiple dealers across the city, and dealers achieving incremental sales with very low resource requirement, as Shiv mentioned, they only need 20 seconds to submit an offer, is quite powerful. And furthermore, we were already offering customers and dealers a platform to interact over chat. So we had also addressed that, communication element, and the whole car buying journey could have been done online with doorstep delivery. So we were already offering those services to customers. So in the current scenario, I think overall, CarJasos doesn't need to change anything in its business model, because it was already it was already advocating those things in the market. CarJasos was built to address the future trend of the buying process moving from offline mode to online mode, and we were expecting it to happen over say 3 to 5 years. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has just accelerated this trend. So what we would have seen in future, we would straight away see now, which is increasing online car buying. So CarJasos addresses a lot of the dealer and customer issues to offer a powerful solution in this new post-lockdown world. And so overall, in conclusion, we don't have to change anything. We were already doing most of the things which would be helpful to dealers and customers in this scenario.
True. All right. So, Shiv, would you like to add anything as per your perspective in this particular question?
Yes, I completely agree with Angel on this, and I would like to highlight that CarJasos brings convenience to customers by offering multiple brands under one roof and allowing the car buyers to transparently gauge the best deals offered by the dealers. Okay, so like CarJasos works with majority of the dealers in the market, and the brand offered on CarJasos constitute more than 90% of the total car sales in India. So if I say, so CarJasos focuses upon to cover 90% of the market share. Okay, so lastly, I would emphasize that the end-to-end safe car buying process through CarJasos online route syncs well with the social distancing protocols. Yes.
Superb. Okay, guys. So now I think let's have a quick view over the what platform CarJasos is offering, and so I request Angel and Shiv to take us through the USP of CarJasos. And when you say CarJasos as the 100% contactless car buying platform, so let us understand how it plays a significant role in the current times, wherein majority of businesses seek for online alternatives. And also, when we will find out how does CarJasos benefit the customers in making their lives easy and convenient during the social distancing time. All right, so I think, Shiv, I have received your presentation. So what I'll do is I'll share the screen, and then you can take us through the CarJasos journey.
So if we say about CarJasos, so CarJasos, it's your digital partner. So what it does, I just tell you. So CarJasos can act as an cost-effective digital extension for dealers, where the focus is to get extremely high-quality confirmed customers with the booking deposits. Yeah, so you can sell cars online. So paying a commission only on the successful sale is an extremely important feature that helps dealers move to variable cost model, in which they don't have to employ a single penny on the prospects for which they have quoted the price. They are going to only pay for the confirmed sales only. Yes. So if we talk about the dealer portal, so less than 20 seconds on each query. So with our powerful technology and efficient operations, we only need dealers to spend 20 seconds on each query. CarJasos does all the heavy lifting after that and get the confirmed booking amount. Yes, so the main perspective here is the zero operational cost. So in most of the cases, dealers will see zero operational cost after responding to an inquiry. So until CarJasos gets them a booking deposit from their customers. So we guarantee 100% online contactless. So what does it mean actually? So being able to access the CarJasos dashboard from any device can really make the sales force agile. Either they are out somewhere or working remotely. So on top of this whole process, can be 100% the revenue saving model, if we say. So increasing your revenue. So it is keeping in mind the social distancing, in which we process 100% contactless process, in which will keep the customers comfortable. This way, dealers can still get revenues with the physical and the social distancing. So Angel, over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Shiv. Thank you for taking us through the benefits to the dealers. I will talk about the benefits to the customers. Now, most of the points which I'll highlight here have been discussed in the webinar, but I just want to bring out like 4 key points which I think will be the most relevant for the post-lockdown world. So the most powerful feature of CarJasos is virtual access to city-wise dealers. Our business model doesn't restrict us from having more dealers on our platform, like some of the other car websites where you have a limit in terms of how much you can have or how much business you can do with them. In our case, it's an open model. We can have as many dealers because they will be competing for customers' business, and it generates like healthy competition, and it gives more transparency and make customers more comfortable and more happy about buying a car. So that is one of the most powerful features, I believe. The second powerful feature, which is not offered by any other portal in India, is sort of the ability to compare offers. We might see a single price online or something like that, but these are real-time prices which we get from our dealer partners who have been working very hard to give these offers to customers, and the customers can compare all these offers sitting at their home, which is a very powerful proposition in my view. So the time-consuming physical process of visiting multiple dealers is now converted to a convenient affair, which can be executed over a couple of hours. So it's a sort of win-win situation for both dealers and customers. And the third thing, as Shiv has also mentioned, and we have mentioned in the presentation, is the 100-less contactless buying process. So, you can do most of the things online. There's physical elements, which again can be you can maintain physical and social distance while doing them. So we believe that providing 100% contactless buying is sort of a necessity for most of the buyers nowadays. And lastly, customers can do everything from the comfort of the home and sort of get their dream car delivered to their doorstep, which is also sanitized. So again, it's kind of addressing the convenience element for the customers, and being able to do everything from home or wherever they are, but not spending a lot of time visiting dealers or finding deals and going to pick up cars and everything. So again, that is something we believe is quite useful to the customers, and this is something which will address needs of a lot of customers in the post COVID-19 lockdown world.
All right. So thank you, Shiv and Angel, for sharing, the journey and the process of CarJasos for the dealers as well as consumers, the customers. All right, and participants. So here is a contact detail in case if suppose you want to contact to CarJasos team, right? So you can mention this particular, the contact details of CarJasos. Yep. So moving forward, right. So we have. Now it is time to have the questions from the participants. So the question which I'm getting from Manhar is, what about business in Gujarat or Baroda? In fact, Vadodara. Right. So
yeah, very good question, and definitely. So as Pravin, you mentioned at the start of the webinar that we are active in Delhi NCR at the region where we have launched our product and working with the dealers. And we have aspirations to sort of expand across all India. So we will be coming soon to your city. So just keep an eye, and we look forward to having your business in future. But we will be expanding across major cities and probably some of the tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India as well.
Okay, we are getting one question from the Facebook Live, and the question is about what are your views for second-hand car market? One of our Facebook viewer is asking. Yes, Angel.
Sure. So that's a very interesting question, and we believe that the used car market. So CarJasos doesn't deal in used car at the moment. We only focus on new cars, but used car markets generally, I believe, will also see growth. Now, generally, used cars are more attractive than new cars have been more attractive over the last few years because of the price point. Where you don't have the burden of additional taxes or higher insurance and everything. So used cars market will sort of grow when people want to buy more cars towards social distancing and everything. However, if you look at the medium and long term, the used car market growth and the new car market growth have to sort of go hand in hand, because if you look at India currently, there's a lot of demand for used cars, but there is not enough supply. So I would say it's a supply constrained market. And one of the key sources of supply for the used car market is the people who are buying new cars and selling their used cars. So normally they would trade their used cars with car dealers. So generally car dealers see around 25 to 30% of trade-ins. So these people are one of the bigger sources of supplies in the used car market. So people have to buy new cars so that there are more used cars in the market which you can sell. Another area of growth for used cars is the kind of the holding period of cars. So if people are holding cars for 2 years and then selling them off compared to 5 years or 10 years before, then there will be more churn in the used car market. So these are the two sources, but relating them to the new car markets, I believe that both will have to go hand in hand in the same direction. The growth rate might be different, but it should be in the same direction.
All right. Thank you, Angel, for answering that particular question. And so we have one more question coming from the participant, Mr. Dhaval. He is saying that how about electric car, and what is the future of electric car?
A very interesting question nowadays, I believe. I think electric cars have been on the rise, and because of the need to have more environment friendly fuels and everything and being more efficient, there have been a lot of advances in the technology for electric cars. However, one thing which was driving the growth of electric cars was the cost of running a car and probably subsidies from the government. Now, if you see, at least I would say in the short term or the medium term, the cost of fuel has gone down, right? So now, people who are thinking about the price of fuel and everything to move to electric, because it also has a higher price point. The electric cars are more expensive. So currently, we might see some slowdown in electric cars. And The other thing is it will definitely grow, and people will go into more environment friendly sources of fuel and everything. But one other fuel which I personally think you should look out for is hydrogen. So hydrogen powered cars and hydrogen powered vehicles might be a bigger thing than electric. But again, these two things, it's quite difficult to comment on them, especially in the current scenario. But we should keep an eye. And I think these are growth areas, alternative fuel vehicles.
All right. So I think very well answered, Angel. Thank you so much for that, because you have rightly said that the about the ecosystem, the need of the market for the electric car. Superb. So we have one more question which is coming from again the Facebook Live. Okay, so the question is how long does it take for a customer to get prices on a particular car with best deals on CarJasos compared to traditional model?
Shiv, do
Okay,
you
so it's
want to
a
take
very
that question?
specific question to car.
Yeah, so I just take up on this. So like I'll just understand this, like how much time it takes a customer to get a best price on CarJasos portal,
Car
right?
justice, yes, compared to the
Okay.
traditional, yeah.
Yes. So like it's if I say a person has to first visit carjasos.com and select the car of his choice. Okay, and just going through the final procedure of the complete selection area in which he has to select the fuel, model, variant, and everything, and then just simply submit. That's it. The person will take hardly, if I say even for the customer also, it will not take more than 15 seconds to submit a quote request after selecting a car. So once the quote is submitted, so we take a window of 48 hours to get the best price from the citywide dealers. So the dealers who are in our network, we give them good time to give us the best quotation. So whatever the current price is or whatever the current cartel from the OEM is running in the market, so that they observe and see what best they can do for this particular request. So at this point of time, if I say the customer and the dealer and even the CarJasos, if I say so, it's basically unbiased quote request where the customer does not know the dealer and dealer does not know the customer, and they just give the unbiased pricing. So it takes like maximum 48 hours to get the best deal. And we even notify the customers if any of the dealers has revert back us to in like say in 1 hour or in within 24 hours only. So we always try to give we always give a notification to our esteemed customer where they can just go back and log in and check the details. But we ask them to give us 48 hours so that we can give them the best deal, so they can compare the highest to the lowest dealers who have provided the quote for the same dream car they have selected.
Right. And thanks, Shiv. And adding to that, like as Shiv said, that the timelines can be as low as like one hour up to 48 hours. So that's quite quick. And if you compare that to the traditional way, where you are actually physically visiting the dealers, you might visit one dealer, get a price, then you go to the other dealer. Now you can only go on the weekends because you work during weekdays. So probably it takes you 2 weeks for the first visits, and then after that you might go back to dealer number one and kind of negotiate further with him, saying dealer number two has given me this price and all those things. So generally the price discovery, I would say, it takes 4 weeks for a customer if they go via the physical route, compared to 1 hour to 48 hours. I would say that's the window. Generally it's you generally get a couple of deals within the first few hours anyway. So that is what we are trying to change in the market, reducing the price discovery phase for the customer.
Perfect. Very well said, Angel. So Abhishek is wants to know. I mean, his question is during this particular financial crisis, will customer buy? Will customer buy cars online, or they? I mean, I'm not getting the exact question, but so can customer buy the cars online during this particular pandemic time, or during this particular lockdown situation?
So I take on this question. I would like to reply for this. So very right question. And if I say Pravin, so there can be two things. What I conclude from this question is, one, at this time the customers they will get the cars easily, or they buy the cars and they get the finances also, because during this pandemic, if I say so, there had been like if you all, like we all know, there can be the salary cutoffs and everything. So there is a major demand of finances, as well as the inventories are very limited. So yes, so first, yes, customer will buy the cars post lockdown, okay, and they will go to the online platforms, as social distancing is the regulatory norm by the government of India now. So everyone will try to get the deliveries or the cars at their doorstep, and they want the complete process to be contactless. So, and as rightly said by Angel in the previous statement, that now people will avoid the shared mobility, can be the public transport or the shared rides. So the people will choose and will choose the car as per their budget, and will try everything to maintain the social distancing by avoiding the public transport and the shared mobility. So yes, definitely people will go for the online car buying. And second is, yes, the finances. So there are so many institutions in the market which provide good finance schemes and which enable the customers to get their dream car depending upon their profile and their budgets.
Perfect. So I hope Abhishek, you got the answer of your question, and perfect. So
I think there was a follow-up from Abhishek saying, in this sort of money crunch with low low balance in the bank account, would customers really buy non-essential items like cars? So just to sort of continue with what Shiv has said. So we are not saying that there will be an increase in car buying. Definitely there will be a dip in car buying in the short term, which we have said in the webinar. But it is all about those customers who want to buy car. There are still customers in the market who want to buy car, who need a car, or who want to replace a car. So there will still be demand, maybe not as high as what we had seen pre-COVID-19, but there will still be demand. And it's all about helping customers buy the cars in the most efficient way. So that is something we need to look into the market. So definitely the sales will dip in the short term, but it's all about how do you sort of achieve that whole buying and selling transaction for the car of whoever wants to buy a car.
all right. Thank you, Angel. So Angel and Shiv, is there anything else you want to mention before we end this particular webinar?
No, I think we have covered most of the things. So I would like to thank everyone who have dialed into the webinar and listened to us, and look forward to more questions on our email address, which was shared on the screen. So I would just repeat it again. It's hello@carjasos.com. So thank you all, and have a great day.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Shiv. In fact, I would like to add into that. So we have I think CarJasos have the Facebook page, so you can just go on the Facebook, search CarJasos, and you can like the page, so that you can start coming the updates and notifications from the CarJasos team. And also, if suppose you are in a Delhi and NCR, so what you can do is, you can just if you are looking to buy a new car, you can just go to the CarJasos.com, and you can have your best deals via a few clicks, right? So perfect. All right. And yes, so in fact you can also go to the Facebook and like the Vyapaar Jagat page. As we are coming up with many such webinars these days. During the lockdowns, we are having awesome speakers. We are making the live journeys of the entrepreneurs, right? So we are doing so many things. All right. So with this, I'm just ending this particular webinar. Thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar, and especially thank you Shiv and Angel for joining us today. Thank you, and all of you have a great day. Thank you.